Characteristics of CMOS inverter. To analyze the DC characteristics of CMOS inverter, initially we are going to consider the CMOS inverter circuit. This inverter circuit gives the basic for calculating the electrical characteristics of logic gates. If you consider the figure shown here, you know the the CMOS inverter, so which has both PMOS and NMOS. See here the NMOS source is connected to ground and PMOS source is connected to VDD, and the gate of PMOS and NMOS are interlinked, and the Vin voltage is given as an input, and the drain of PMOS and NMOS are interlinked, and Vout is taken as an output. So for the analysis of this electrical characteristics, we are considering the basic CMOS circuit. The conduction state of Mn and MP is determined by the input voltage Vin. Based on this input voltage, either Mn is on or MP is on. Based on this, we will get the output. There are two types of calculations basically. One is the DC analysis and another one is the transient analysis. If you consider the DC analysis, it provides a direct mapping of input to the output such that to determine the output voltage. If you consider the transient analysis, the input voltage is an explicit function of time Vn of t corresponding to the changing logic value. Let us say if you consider the transient analysis, we are going to analyze at time t equal to 0 and the later on time. This is the case of your transient analysis. And the next is, we'll start with the DC analysis of CMOS inverter. The DC characteristics of inverter are portrayed in the voltage transfer characteristics, which is a plot of Vout as a function of Vin. So that we will discuss in the next slide. Simply we will find out the input and output voltages of our CMOS inverter. If you see here, we are giving an input voltage of 0 volt. Is it at that time there's PMOS is in on condition and NMOS is in off condition, and then we will get an output voltage Vout that is equal to VDD. As your PMOS is in on condition, your output voltage here is equal to VDD. That we can say, that voltage we can say it as an output high voltage. That is what it is represented as VOH. So if you consider your input voltage as VDD, see your NMOS is in on condition and PMOS is in off condition, and hence your output is connected directly to ground, and hence your output voltage here is 0 volt. So that 0 volt we can represent it as, see here, that is equal to output low voltage. That is what it is, VOL. So based on the input, your output will be either output high voltage or output low voltage. So the logic swing of the output. So logic swing in the sense your output logic is swinging from 0 to VDD. So that can be represented as VL voltage. That is a full rail voltage, which is equal to CVOH minus VOL. That is your output voltage. So that is your logic swing voltage. So as your VOH is VDD and VOL is 0, you will get your logic swing voltage at your output as VDD. Since this is equal to the full value of the power supply, this we can say it as a full rail voltage or full rail output. If we come back to the voltage transfer characteristics of the inverter, we know it is a plot between output voltage versus your input voltage. Is it? Okay. So to analyze this VTC characteristics, we are starting with an input voltage of Vin is equal to 0 volt, and then it is increasing up to a value of Vin equal to VDD. That is what it is given here. See, it is starting at a 0 volt and then we are increasing it to a maximum of VDD. So for these input voltages, we are going to find your response at your output. Your response at your output, that is what your Vout voltage is. So let us consider that your VGSN. See, it is your gate source voltage of your NFET. So this can be written as Vg minus Vn. Vg minus Vsn. VGSN can be written as Vgn minus Vsn as per the voltage divider rule. You know your Vgn is equal to your input voltage, And in NFET, see, your source voltage of NFET is connected to ground, hence this is equal to 0, hence we can write it as Vin minus 0, hence your VGSN is directly equal to Vin. Okay, similarly, if you write for VGSP, as we are representing it as VGSP, it is always equal to VSGP, as your source of your PFET is always of highest potential. We have to write it as VSGP. Hence, as per the voltage divider rule, see, this can be written as VSP minus VGP. Hence, you are substituting the value for VSP. VSP is your source voltage at your P MOSFET, that is equal to VDD. See, that is what it is written here. And your VGS is your input voltage. Hence, it is written as VDD minus Vin. Okay. So, this is what the case for your input voltages based on your that is given to your CMOS inverter. Okay. And if you consider the logic 1 and logic 0 voltage ranges, so this can be defined by changing the slope of VTC. See, at logic 0, the input voltage lies between 0 to VIL. So this we can say it as a noise margin. So if you see, we are considering an input. Okay, this is your 0 volt, this is your 0 volt, and this is somehow a higher voltage rather than your 0 volt. So the voltage between these two, any voltage that is between these two voltages are considered as VIL, input low voltages. So that we can say it as a noise margin at your input level. So that we'll discuss in the subsequent equations. And if you consider at your output high, so this is your maximum VDD, so maximum VDD, and sometimes if the noise exists, so this may be get deviated, and that voltage we can represent it as VIH, input high voltage. So the voltages that in between your VIH and VDD are considered as an input high voltages. See, so that is what in logic 1, a logic 1 input voltages will always lies between VIH and VDD. Okay, so based on this we can able to define the noise margin. So voltage noise margin gives a quantitative measure of how stable the inputs are with respect to the coupled electromagnetic signal interference. See, your noise margin, the noise margin voltage, which meant that it is a high noise margin voltage, can be defined as VOH minus VIH. So it is the difference between output high voltage and input high voltage. Similarly, your low noise margin is defined as the difference between input low voltage. See here, it is your, this is your input low voltage and your output low voltage, VOL. So that it will be here. Okay, output low voltage. So the difference between these two are considered as the low voltage noise margin. So based on your input voltage and output voltage and its corresponding low and high, we can define the low noise margin voltage and then high noise margin voltage. So let us see in detail about these definitions. See here, this is your gate output voltage, this is your gate output voltage. The lower voltage that is in the range between this is considered as VOL. So this is your 0 volt. Up to this point it is considered as output low voltage. Similarly, this is logic 1, that is equal to VDD. Up to this voltage, see here, this is a VDD, and up to this voltage it is considered as output high voltage. Okay, this is on your output side, and on your input side, see here, your input low voltage can be up to this point, from this point to this point. Hence, the voltages that lies between these points are considered as input low voltage. Similarly, maximum voltage and the lower voltage below that, and that is in between these two voltages, it is considered as input high voltages. The remaining voltages between here is considered as an undefined region. Okay, so based on this input voltage and gate output voltage, we can define the noise margin, that is a low noise margin and high noise margin. If you consider the low noise margin, it is the difference between VIL minus VOH. Sorry, VOL. That is what it is given in this equation. VIL minus VOL. And similarly for high noise margin, see here it is VOH minus VIH. So that is what a high noise margin is given here. Okay, and if you consider, see in figure, it is an output voltage versus input voltage. In an input voltage, the range in which 0 to some particular voltage is considered as a low input voltage, and similarly VIH to a maximum of VDD is considered as input high voltage. Similarly, the range between, see the slope, is it 0 to this point, it is considered as output low voltage. Similarly, see here from this point to maximum of VDD, it is considered as output high voltage. So see why I am drawing this characteristics like this is, see this is actually an input voltage. When your input is 0 in your CMOS inverter, your output is high, is it? That is why it is initially at high voltage. Later on, when you try to increase your input voltage, your output voltage will try to start decreasing, and at one particular voltages it reaches to a minimum of 0 volt in ideal case, and it is not equal to 0 for non-ideal cases. Hence, if you try to increase your input voltages, see here, if you try to increase your input voltages, your output voltage will try to reach low value. Okay, based on this we have defined the noise margins. Now we need to find the mid voltage in this voltage transfer characteristics. To find the mid voltage, see the current of your NFET, that is the drain current of your NFET, is always equal to the drain current of your PMOSFET. Okay, so this can be written as, see here, as you know here IDN is equal to IDP. See, we need to find your middle voltage. So at this time, see the input voltage given to the inverter is Vm, and the output voltage taken out from the inverter is Vm. So now we need to find your IDN and IDP. So you know that at the mid voltage, both the transistors are in saturation condition. Both the transistors are in saturation conditions. So for saturation condition, we know the current equation. IDN is equal to beta n by 2 VGSN minus VTN, is it? Whole square. So you know that VGSN can be written as VGN minus VSN as per the voltage divider rule. As VSN is connected to ground, you can write your VGN is equal to VM. Hence, see here on a left hand side, your IDN, in your IDN, your VGSN is replaced by VM, and minus VTN will be maintained as it is. So it is the same value, it is whole square, is it? And on your right hand side, if you see, your VGSP minus modulus of VTP. See here, your VGSP can be written as VSP minus VGP. As the source potential is always higher, your source voltage of PMOSFET should be written first, and then your source voltage, gate voltage of your PMOSFET should be written. See here, VSGP is equal to VDD minus VGP, that is the gate voltage of your PMOSFET, that is at your input. See here, it is equal to Vm, hence we are substituting Vm here. Hence we need to write VDD minus Vm minus modulus of VTP whole square. As both the PMOSFET and the NMOSFET are symmetrical, so let us say your IDN is equal to IDP. Hence from we can equate these two equations, is it? So both the transistors are in on condition and are in saturation region. So from this, if you try to solve for your Vm is equal to VDD minus VTP modulus of VTP plus square root of beta n by beta p into VTN divided by 1 plus square root of beta n divided by beta p. So you know that beta n is equal to Kn dash W by L of n, and beta p is equal to Kp dash W by L of p. Is it? Your Kn dash divided by Kp dash is approximately equal to 2 to 3, and if you write it for your mobility, your Kn dash by Kp dash is approximately equal to mu n divided by mu p, which is equal to gamma. If all these values are equal, we can substitute in this equation. See, if beta n is equal to beta p, so this is equal to Vtn. So plus, if Vtn is equal to Vtp, see these two will be get cancelled, and this turns to 1, and hence it is 1 plus 1 divided 1 plus 1 is 2. Hence you will get your Vm is equal to 1 divided by 2 VDD. So let us, I am repeating once again. See here, for the symmetrical, as per the symmetrical principle, your beta n is equal to beta p. Beta n is equal to beta p. beta P, and your threshold voltage VTP is equal to modulus of VTP is equal to VTN. If this is the case, you substitute in this equation 7.14 for these two values, you will get this value turned to 1, and hence as the modulus of VTP is equal to VTN, substitute here, these two will be get cancelled, and square root of beta n by beta P turns to 1, which is equal to 2. 1 plus 1 is 2, hence you will get your Vm is equal to VDD by 2. At the same time, you can also get if VTN and VTP is not equal. If these two are not equal, your beta n by beta P is depending on this equation. So the same value here. If you are not cancelling your VTP and VTN, and if you find your square root of, that is from the square root, if you find your beta n by beta P, you will get this equation. Okay. So this is what the case for any midpoint voltages in your voltage transfer characteristics. This is what your DC analysis is. So from figure 7.15a, the PFET has a width of about 2 times of width of NFET, and that is what your Vm is equal to VDD by 2 is. Similarly, if you consider the 7.5b, see here in 7.5b, the PFET has a width of about Wn is equal to Wp. If that is the case, so your Vm middle voltage is less than VDD by 2. At the physical level, the relative device size contained in the ratio the beta n by beta P determines the switching points of your voltage transfer characteristics. See, it determines your size beta n by beta P determines the switching points of the transistors. So this is regarding the DC characteristics of CMOS inverter.